think certainly probably some of our younger staff probably don't even know I rode in the Grand National.
Well, I want to hear that story actually. Beecher's Brook, which time?
Sadly, first time round.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I was riding a complete outsider, and the question's been asked. How nervous was I? Well, I used to be nervous if I was riding a hot favourite, because the pressure's on expectations. But in that case, he was a complete outsider. He was trained by a trainer who I'd been getting a few rides for. Anyway, it went crash bang at Beecher's, and that actually was the last year that Beecher's was really the big fence. I think they levelled off the landing side after that. And
But yeah, nervous, not about, I would imagine you would have been nervous less about winning the race, but more about tackling those obstacles. Or were you not?
Not really. No, I think, I do remember coming down over the first and thinking, blimey, that's a long way down. And you need to slip your reins. You need to let the reins slip through your fingers, because the horses inevitably, when they land, they're going to peck, and if you're holding the reins too firmly, they will pull you over their head, So I was very determined that this was going to happen. But I believe you me, when you're at the top of that fence and looking down, you will automatically loosen the reins. But I also remember before the race thinking that as I was going to be slipping my reins, there was a fair chance I might drop my stick in the process. And the great optimism of youth, the fact that I was going to need my stick in the closing stages. So I put an elastic band around it, and the elastic band around the stick around my middle finger, so that I wouldn't drop it. Anyway, went crash bang wallop at Beecher's Brook, was knocked out, carted off it by ambulance to Falzachary Liverpool Hospital, still with my whip attached to my right hand. I think they were probably used to at Liverpool to the likes of.
Oh, it's National Day again.
National Day, but Miss Whiplash arriving.
That's so good. But I mean, no stranger to outsiders in the Grand National, having then trained Monmouth to win at 100 to 1. Tell me what that day was like.
Yes, that was amazing. He'd actually run in the race the year before, and I thought we had half a chance the year before, and he'd finished 10th. And I thought, okay, right, well, that's as good as it gets. He'd actually won a really good race at Cheltenham that season before Christmas, 100 grand through my handicap chase. So at that stage, he was looking, like he might have been a candidate. But he'd run in the Midlands National before the race and not run very well. So I think as a result, he was easy for people to put a line through him so he drifted out to 100 to 1. And I remember as they turned for home, Jim McGrath saying, any one of 12 horses can win the Grand National of 2009. And I remember with my great optimism thinking, oh gosh, there are 9 prizes, I bet we'll finish 10th. At which point it all changed and he just went to the front. And I think he's probably won by the largest distance of I think any horse in the last 20 years.
Really?
Yeah.
At 100 to 1?
At 100 to 1, exactly.
He just thrived on the day.
Exactly, yeah. It was amazing.
What was it like for you witnessing that?
Well, do you know, I feel I was slightly denied the screaming and the hollering and the shouting.
Are you much of a screamer and a holler and a shouter?
Oh, I can give it,
yeah?
Absolutely.
Okay.
But I do remember at this particular time, the best place to watch the Grand National was right on top of the roof, where, and it used to be absolutely packed and you could barely get through. And this year, for the first time, they were policing it. So a guy at the entrance only let people go up to that stand if they actually had a runner in the race. So for the very first time, there was hardly anybody there.
Oh.
Rather than having the huge crowds. So Vida Bingham, Mon Mom's owner, myself were there. And then, I don't know how many, but nowhere near the packed crowds. And it's a very small grandstand. It's right on the roof. It's very small. So A, there was hardly anybody with us. B, nobody backed him. It wasn't a close finish. There was no fancied horses fighting out the finish. So it was probably the quietest, most silent finish of a Grand National ever.
Did you still allow yourself the hollering and the...
Well, not really, because he was like, at the last he's got a chance, and within about 10 strides, he's won it.
Okay, so there wasn't any big kind of having to shout him home, and no one else around you was doing that. That's
right. So the moment of screaming home your national winner, I mean, I'm not complaining, but I remember Vida turning to me round just as they went past the elbow and wanting to hug me. And I was thinking, no, Vida, you need to watch this because you're not going to see it again. And I said, just watch him.
Yeah.
And then I don't know if you've been to that stand, but there's a long, windy spiral staircase with a banister, very old wooden. And I said, Vida, right, you've got to run as fast as you've ever run now because we need to get all the way down there. And I'm scuttling down the wooden staircase. I half expected to turn around and see Vida bumping down on the banisters behind me. But anyway,
fairly shaky legs running down to greet your winner.
But best day of my life.